In this box is 4 MacBooks I bought for $108. They're all supposed to function. They're all actually different kinds of MacBook. Some of them are Pros. I think there's an Air that's like basically destroyed. I don't know if they all will work. That's what the listing says, but we can only find out once we look. Actually, before I open this, and I do hear some rattling, this box came open, so you can peek in there and see the Pros. From the looks of things, there's not very much padding, so hopefully the laptops didn't get any more destroyed than they already were. We got a first look at one of the MacBooks. This here, I believe, is a 17-inch. Oh, there's a RAM stick I can see on the camera view. What do we have here? A cable? What is this? An Anker box? What is this? This is not something this is a flashlight. Off to an odd start. We've got screws everywhere. This is just like that rare black MacBook that I got in my recent video, except this one's white and not rare, and from the looks of it, partially destroyed. This was really interesting in the listing. This appeared to be, I think it's a first generation MacBook Air by that door there, and it was destroyed. And then we have another MacBook Pro. This one is a 15-inch. Let's examine them one by one. Oh gosh, that's actually quite heavy. So starting here with this 15-inch MacBook Pro, a little bit of a crack there because it's missing some screws, I would imagine. I think I know where that missing stick of RAM goes though. Okay, it's a laptop all right, except it's all apart. I don't see any immediate signs of anything gone horribly wrong. By the looks of it, the screen isn't smashed, but it is a little bent. Next, we have the MacBook Air. That's completely wrecked, and it is not a QWERTY keyboard. Goodness, how am I going to use this thing? And then we have the white MacBook. No immediate signs of terrible damage. I do notice that the battery looks a little suspicious here. See that? Okay, now this is peculiar. This isn't a battery at all. So this guy double-sided taped. I've never seen anything like this before. We'll deal with that later. And finally, this monstrosity of a computer. I've learned this time that a button here actually releases the display for some odd reason. That hinge. Oh my gosh. This screen is gigantic. It's like a TV. There's no screws here either. Oddly clean internals, no dust on the fans, or very little to speak of. And for some reason, there's no DVD drive. And I'd imagine one of the reasons the hinge is so loose is because I think it's missing a screw there. So we're off to an interesting start. Knowing the MacBook Pros were sold without drives, I wasn't shocked that neither of them had one. But as for the other two laptops, I don't know, and neither did the seller. I only hope that this MacBook has one. I started by removing the tape. What is this? It looks like slices of cheese. Obviously, it's not. Don't go eating it. Oh, gosh. The other side proved more difficult, but I managed it with only a little damage to the rubber. You have to unscrew these 3 Phillips head screws to get access to this compartment. This MacBook does not have a hard drive, but there is RAM, which is a good sign. And to see if there's a drive in the MacBook Air, I unscrewed the 10 screws holding the back into place with 3 different sizes of screw to just hold this back, which seems like an excessive amount. The rubber feet are absolutely destroyed, and the writing on the back is almost entirely illegible because of all the wear. Obviously, it's a heavily worn laptop. Everyone was really impressed when Steve Jobs took this first generation MacBook Air out of a manila folder. But this MacBook started the trend of no user upgradable RAM. The RAM here is soldered, and the drive, if there is one, is the same drive from an iPod Classic. The hinge is destroyed. I was taking much too delicate of an approach. You just ram the clips out. Okay, there is a drive. It does not have a battery. So now we know none of these computers came with batteries. But at least this MacBook Air has a drive, because I don't exactly have any iPod drives lying around. And a big thanks to Aura for sponsoring this video. Aura has dozens of features, including everything listed here, and that's only scratching the surface. Something that immediately helped me is their leaked password detection. If it detects any, and it likely will, that means that account is compromised and its password needs to be changed immediately. Data leaks at big companies happen all the time. I found a website that lists every major data breach of 2023, and there's tons of them. The companies include Discord, T-Mobile, Pizza Hut, and KFC. Who has a KFC account? Probably nobody, but everyone has a Discord account. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not have my Discord account stolen. When I signed up for Aura, I never dreamed any of my accounts to be compromised. But sure enough, Aura noticed my Epic Games password was leaked on the dark web. That's no fault of mine. The password was leaked due to a data breach. I immediately changed the password and everything was okay. If I didn't have Aura, I would never have known that, and things could have gone very differently. If you've bought things on the Epic Games Store, likely your credit card details are stored in your account, so it's not just your precious Fortnite skins that would be at risk here. If you use the same password across multiple sites and one is leaked, in effect they all are, and it's a matter of time before all of your accounts become compromised. Aura's password manager can also help with this. Give it a try at aura.com/Kelson for a 2-week no obligation free trial and up to 33% off the annual subscription for an individual. Trust me, it's worth it. But now the fun part, seeing if they'll all turn on. First up is the MacBook Air. We're gonna have to put this computer up on a couple boxes so we can plug the MagSafe connector in like that at an angle, because you can't use it sitting down because you need a right angle one, which I don't have. But I think I saw a flash of a green light, so that is probably a good sign. Why is it already on? I didn't press any power buttons or anything. Ah! Pretty much the only thing holding the screen on is my hand and the cable. The hinge does absolutely nothing. I'm honestly surprised the screen turns on at all with no visible discoloration or damage. I mean, looking at this MacBook without knowing it worked, would you expect the screen to turn on? I'll see what I can do about the hinge another time. On to the next computer. We know from earlier that this one does not have a drive or a battery, but thankfully it has the exact same battery and drive as this $1 rare black MacBook I got in a recent video, link in description. I'll just take it out and temporarily put the drive and the battery in this other white MacBook. And now we're ready to see if the MacBook works. Press the power button, the light's on. I hear a sound. It sounds like a very tortured CD drive. No display, no boot chime. Well, this one will require more looking into. And now let's move on to this MacBook Pro that's definitely seen better days. Okay, we don't have a drive, but I already knew that. Slotting my MacBook's SSD into place, of course being too lazy to remove the bracket, it's temporary. Plugged in the keyboard, let's see if it has power. Oh, it doesn't have a battery. Obviously, it requires this. It's not doing anything. It should turn on. Not what I was hoping for from a listing that said they all function. Next up is the huge 17-inch MacBook Pro using the same drive as in the 15-inch. Oh, we got a boot chime. Hey, this one functions. The screen is lit up. And it should be booting into that SSD that has Lion and everything installed from that black MacBook. We're loaded in to macOS Lion, so we have a working computer. Admittedly, this computer needs a lot of work because it's missing like half its screws, and also the hinge does this. Well, at least half of the computers work. Now knowing the state of the computers, I began trying to diagnose the issues, starting with the white MacBook. Somehow, I remembered each of the 21 screw locations. This would be from taking apart the $1 MacBook in my recent video. One screw was missing though, and it wasn't the one stuck to the laptop at the beginning. I tested. Taking up the keyboard, I was in. By the looks of it, all the connectors are plugged in. There's no signs of water damage, so I did the most basic thing of unplugging it, blowing on it, and plugging it back in again, and now we'll see if it works. Plug the keyboard back in, give it some power, press the button. No boot chime. All that happened was the indicator light turned on. The internal display could be dead, or the laptop could just be dead in general. Goodbye. I did notice the display cable was slightly frayed. Perhaps it's gone bad. After multiple startups, I couldn't get anything to appear on the Mac screen, so I tried using external video. That didn't work either, but perhaps it somehow triggered this. Since the display cable appeared damaged, I thought it would be a good idea to take the computer all apart and get at that screen. There's your problem. The cable's all frayed, and that's probably why this was showing up on the screen when I tried to turn it on. So to try and fix the issue, I did what any reasonable person would do and applied new thermal paste, because thermal paste equals fixed. No, actually, I noticed the computer was getting really hot, and since the fan wasn't running, I wanted to reduce the likelihood of the computer cooking itself. I also reseated all the connectors, but that didn't seem to do anything. On startup, this is what happened. The CD drive is crying for help. It definitely isn't booting into anything, no external video, at least the USB ports are getting power. I'm declaring this computer dead. And for the 15-inch MacBook Pro, it's pretty much more of the same, except this time, it didn't do anything at all. Still, no noise coming from any of the components, no buzzing of transistors, not even power to the USB ports. Apparently these computers sat in the box for over a year, and in that time they stopped working. I did contact the seller and was able to get a partial refund since it was specifically mentioned they all function, and obviously they don't. He also said that he thought he lost this flashlight over a year ago, but obviously he just accidentally shipped it over to me. In the next few weeks, there'll be a video about the 17-inch MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. I also bought 5 more MacBooks, so that'll be another video coming up eventually. And in this week's video for the $1 a month channel members, I bought 6 iPhones. Yes, I've been buying a lot of things recently. You know, I bought these iPhones to fix my original phone. It was successful, and I also ended up with a bunch of different camera angles out of it. Yes, the camera angles you've been seeing in this video and recent videos have been from iPhones I bought in the members only video coming out this week. But there's 2 new videos a week, a video for everyone and a video for the channel members, Saturday at 8 a.m. Until next week, subscriber bad, have a great day, goodbye.